I'm going to give you my top 10 things to help make your shift easier into the working environment. So if you're going to get a job, if you're going to get a bursary, what do I think with my experience and some interviews that I did with certain people to help you make that transition easier. There is something called adulting. Do you know what that word means? Not adultery, adulting. Okay. Yes, it's a new word, a new buzzword. It means growing up. Okay. Cool. And unfortunately, or fortunately, when you start working, you have to become an adult. Okay. Okay, the first thing, good results matter. Okay. Marks are used as a filter. For graduates and for bursaries, we use marks as a filter. Okay? You have no experience, we have nothing else to compare you to. The only thing that you have is marks. Okay? And good results will separate you from the rest. And if you get good results, we think, or we kind of assume it's because you put a lot of effort in it, so when you start working for us, you're going to do the same. So bear in mind, guys, very important. Do your best, good results matter, that's all we have to compare you to. You don't have no work experience. So you can understand, we cannot go on experience. We have to go on marks. Okay? Secondly, you need to get your driver's license if possible. Not so important if you're going to get a bursary, it's not really required. Very important if you're going to start working in industry or consulting or as an academic, you're getting your driver's license. I have not seen an advert yet where a Code 8 driver's license is not required for a graduate opportunity. And if it's not in that advert, I would wonder why. Because you have to get yourself to work somehow, right? Okay? A license does allow you to buy a car within the first few months of working. So once you're on a salary, you cannot buy a car without having a license, obviously. Okay? And like that statement said, someone told me, we don't want to be chauffeuring you around when you start working. We have a job to do. I have a job. I cannot be transporting graduates up and down to work. Okay, we expect you to grow up and get your license. It also allows you to drive a company vehicle. In academics, if you want to do your master's, for instance, and you need to do some field work, and you need to take the bakkie, you don't have a driver's license, who's going to take you? As well as in consulting and in the industry. Sometimes I have to drive the company vehicle. Yesterday I went on a 4x4 course because our bakkies are 4x4 and we have to go to the field. And if I didn't have a license, or a graduate, for instance, Minil, for instance, that's working with me, if she didn't have a license, she would miss out on an opportunity. Okay, so it allows you to drive a company vehicle and definitely creates a sense of independence. When you get a license, you are independent, you can go where you need to go. If we send you somewhere, we have no issues with it. Okay, so if you can, while at varsity, try your best to get a license. I know it's sometimes not financially viable for everybody, but if it is, try your best to get it. It really does make a difference. Okay, excuse me. Next thing is becoming financially savvy. You can start learning about finances, basic finances, while at university. You don't need to start working to understand certain financial concepts. You can Google, get onto Google, type in something, and someone has written something in a simple way for you to understand. Okay. So when you start working, there is an entity called SARS. Have you heard about SARS before? Yeah? And SARS wants to take your money. Okay, so your company wants to pay you something, and SARS comes and says, sorry, we also have to take care of the rest of South Africa. I'm going to take a portion of your money. And the portion that they take is dependent on what salary you earn. The more you earn, the more they take. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, it's up to 40%. So if you're earning, for example, 10,000 Rand, sorry, not 10,000, let me think of a person earning quite a bit. Say you earn 100,000 Rand a month. They will take 40,000 Rand. Yes. Okay, but they might give you some money back with something called a tax return. Guys, okay, quiet down. They might give you something back with something called a tax return. Okay, so when you start working, the taxman takes your money, but at some point during the year, you have to do something called a tax return, and you might get some money back from them that they owe you. Okay, but they do take your money every month. Also, what you think you're going to earn is not what you end up earning. Very important to note. Not all companies will have an automatic deduction for medical aid and pension and. Sasol fortunately has that, so it's taken off my salary before I even know it. Other companies, you have to go and source a medical aid, you have to go and source a pension fund, you have to go and source insurance, those type of things. So don't think you're going to get X amount, you can go parting with that money. There's a lot of stuff that you need to think about before you can do that. Okay. Like I said here, learn as much as you can about finances, credit, taking out a loan for a car, for instance, savings and investment accounts. I mean, we now have tax-free savings accounts in all banks. Learn about them. So when you start working, you understand some of those basic concepts. So it's not taught to you at varsity, and it's not taught to you when you start working. It's assumed that you just know. Okay, and you have to do the work for yourself. And very importantly, one of the first things that I preach to a graduate, and that I've done for myself since day one, is pay yourself first. When you get a salary, when you get a stipend, when you get any sort of money, pay yourself first. Put a bit away in a bank account for yourself for a rainy day. Don't spend it all. Okay. So even though you're getting a salary, it's yours, but there's so much expenses, so many people are going to take money from you. First, put away something for yourself. Okay? The next thing that could help you is becoming computer literate. We expect you in industry and in consulting and I think academics to at least know Microsoft Office, the very basic, Word, PowerPoint, and some Excel. Okay? However, when you start working in industry, over time you would find that you would want to become more advanced in those type of programs, which university doesn't teach you, and you might have to go for a course. But if you can, and you are good at something like Excel, it brings something to the table. If you can already start learning about the more advanced concepts of Microsoft Office. Okay. Some computer applications, such as ArcGIS, for instance, are universal. So if you are doing your honors and you have a job afterwards, there's a chance that if you're doing ArcGIS with your honors, you might also use it in industry, and you might find the transition quite smooth with the program. Okay. However, a lot of other programs you will learn when you start working. Okay. If you can program, you may have an added advantage. We see, especially at Sasol, people who can program know the application behind the scenes. They can go into the application, they can modify it and tweak it to a point where it is much more efficient. So if you have the ability and the know-how to program, please put it on your CV if you can. Okay, it is an added advantage. Okay. And PowerPoints and emails are king in industry. You will hear people say, I sent you the email, you should have known what to do. We presented it in the PowerPoint, why don't you know? Okay. It's normal talk in industry. So you need to know how to write an email, and you need to know how to compile a PowerPoint, because it's the normal way we communicate in industry. We don't have time to go face to face to everybody. We send an email. We don't have time to go and sit in someone's office. We present to a large group of people via PowerPoint. Okay, so it's important that you start learning how to make a PowerPoint and how to write up an email. Okay, the next point is cleaning up your online activities. Does everyone here have LinkedIn? Who doesn't have LinkedIn? Nobody. Okay. Hi, Sue.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay. It's important that you start cleaning up your online activities. So the first thing I encourage is to get a LinkedIn profile. It will be blank. It might be very bare, you might have 1 or 2 things on there, but it's a start for you to start populating it. It is an online CV. Okay, get LinkedIn. Okay. Those pics of you on drunk field trips, watch out. It's funny, you put it on Facebook, you put it on Instagram, it is a public platform, we can go view it and we can see the type of personality maybe that you are having. It doesn't look good. Okay, so watch what you post online, very important. Some companies and recruiters may use your social media as a filter for applications. If it's public profile, why not? Okay, it is public. You're allowing someone to look into it. Taking selfies and a whole lot more, the way you might be using social media at university needs to stop when you start working. We don't encourage you to be on your phone all the time, taking pictures of yourself, posting online. If I give you a task and I know it's going to take 4 or 5 hours and I log on to Facebook and I see, for instance, you started posting some update about what you ate, I will start questioning, is this person really working or is this person online? Okay, so be careful what you post online, really. Public profiles, recruiters can use them.